Hello, thank you for joining me today for a little crafty video. I do notice here that my fingers are ink stained, and I'm just taking a moment to point out that it did come from this pen, so sorry if that's distracting to you. But moving on, my project today is centered around my happy planner. I printed out these pictures here that I want to go ahead and add in. So a quick little look here. I don't actually use this as a regular planner. I use it more as a memory keeping book, a bit of a journal slash scrapbook type situation, I guess. Here you can see my monthly view and then the first week of January. This is one of the weekly spreads that I want to kind of spice up with some pictures here because I added a lot of journaling, which is great, but I think it needs a little something. This was a very happy time in my life. It's when my little girl, Holly Claire, came into the world. She's my first and only child so far, so it's been very exciting. I have here a couple of pictures from that time, so now that, I'm in a bit more of a routine with her and with life again, I have some more time to go back and kind of add some of the details that I think are missing in my little journal here. So I'm just cutting up my pictures. I do prefer to use scissors just because for me personally, I don't get as good of results, I guess, with a paper trimmer or like not the rotary type, but just any other trimmers really. Scissors are just the ones that work the best for me. So here I am just trimming them up. And it's not a big deal to me if it's not super straight. I think for what I need this to be, hand cutting with scissors works just fine. So I'm cleaning up my little scraps here. It's always nice to tidy up a bit just to kind of, get a better view of what's going on. As you all know, I'm sure, your desks can get very messy very quickly. So I like to kind of stop and clean things up a bit every now and then. So again, just trimming up these little pictures here. And I hope you guys enjoy this kind of video. I just thought it'd be fun to share a bit of my process for scrap journaling, I guess I'll call it. I am used to doing a lot more like traditional journaling in the sense of like just writing, but for the past few years I've been experimenting a lot with my journaling style, and this is something that I've really enjoyed doing. So like adding pictures and stuff like that. It just makes the journal a lot more fun, I think. The writing portion for me has definitely slimmed down quite a bit. And so now, things look a little bit different, but I like it. So again, here just trimming up little pictures with my Canon selfie printer on the shuffle mode. I am able to print a lot of pictures on a single sheet, which I personally really like because it kind of gives you a variety of sizes, and I think that works really well. Keeps things interesting in my opinion. So all right, clearing that up. Now I'm bringing in some little bits that I had in my scrapbook box. Just pulled out blue because it's January, and I think, blue kind of makes me think of winter. The one little polka dotty paper here just reminds me of snow falling. So I'm just going to use my little scraps and mat my pictures onto these little bits, and just go for it. So here I'm pulling out some double-sided tape that I just bought. I got it off Amazon. It was a good price. I have another little roll of double-sided tape, but this one's kind of different. I've never used this specific brand or this style that's like on this little roller thing. So here I am kind of fiddling with the packaging and just trying to open it up. and it's actually kind of challenging. It breaks, the little plastic bit here breaks, and I just can't seem to get it. So I'm gonna reach for my little pokey tool to help me out because it's just too hard for me. My nails are short and it's just not really working out. But after a bit of struggling here, I do manage to pull it out and unravel that little protective layer. And so what the situation is here with this tape is that it doesn't have any protective backing. It's just straight up sticky, ready to go on both sides. So I've never had double-sided tape like that. It was a bit of an unusual feeling. Most of my double-sided tape is like this, which comes with backing. It's really nice. But yeah, this is a different, kind of experience, I guess. So here I am, just taping up my little pictures, going for it. I'm not too worried about how straight they are on the little scraps. Perfection isn't really what I'm going for here. I'm just trying to get the project done. As I'm sure parents know, new moms know, it's tough times, right? Time is precious. And so now that I have my little baby girl, I, just scramble to try and get my little fun time in as quickly as possible, because it can be hard to peel away sometimes. And so here I am just trying to get this taken care of without worrying too much about how perfect it is or how straight it is. I trim the little scraps pretty close to the pictures, so in the end it ends up looking fine for me. So here I am trimming it pretty close to the little picture, trying to clean up as I go. And the double-sided tape is working pretty well. I actually end up really liking how the dispenser works because it makes this whole process go a lot quicker. Sometimes peeling the backing can be a bit time consuming, and so with this little dispenser, just the quick cutting little blade that it has there at the end just makes this process a lot quicker. What I did find though is that if the tape isn't laid completely flat, it doesn't stick as well. So you'll see here in a bit what I mean. That does make me a little concerned for the durability, the actual stickiness of this product, whether my pictures will just end up falling off. But I guess we'll see how that goes with time. For now, I'm just enjoying the fact that it gives me quick results, which is wonderful. Alright, just laying down more pictures. And it's nice to have a variety of little scraps, like different types of blues, patterned, unpatterned. One of them is actually like this little shiny blue you'll see in a sec. I think, again, I like the visual interest that different sizes, different blues gives to the little journal. Variety, I think, for me, is key. Alright, a quick cleanup here, saving any decent sized scraps and tossing the rest. This is that shiny blue I was talking about. I actually really liked how that ended up looking with the picture. And I kind of wish I'd pulled more of that. I'm using up all my small scraps first because, you know, the truth is if I don't use them up now, I'm not really going to use them up later. So, you know, I'm just trying to maximize the paper right now and just let go of the tiny bits that, you know, I'm not going to use. Sometimes it's hard, I think, as a scrapper, as a paper collector, you know, crafty person, to let go of our materials, or, you know, to kind of move on. So I'm slowly learning that it's okay. You know, I've used it. It's kind of like the joy of throwing away the scraps. So there we go, threw that away. And now just sticking down the last few. Almost done here, which is great. And so this is where the little tape kind of scrunched up a bit in the back, and I'm trying to fix it, but it won't. I can't. So I just decide to peel it off and try again. But maybe because it's a small little picture, it like keeps scrunching up. You know, I can't quite get it right. And because of that, that double-sided tape just isn't sticking, I guess, isn't really doing the job. So I do end up having to go in with my regular liquid glue, and liquid glue to the rescue, as always. You know, I love liquid glue. It's just the only hang up, I guess, is that sometimes it can warp paper and make it bow, which, you know, nobody wants that. But you got to do what you got to do. And so in this case, with that little picture struggling to stick down, I just have to go in with that liquid glue, and you know, that's okay. I've now gone in and written the date and time on all of my pictures, which is something I like to do because if, say, I print out too many pictures for a single day, or there are too many pictures for a particular week, I can spread them out for other days, or, you know, put them in other weekly spreads, sorry. And then I'm able to flip to the back and still know exactly when that picture is from. So it just kind of helps my little brain to be okay with, you know, spreading the pictures around. Because sometimes we have a lot of pictures we like from one day and none from a different day, you know, so this is a nice solution for me. That little rock there that looks like a heart is a little weight that I like to use. And here I just showed the type of tape I use to tape down my pictures to my little journal here. It's just gift wrap tape. I prefer this because it kind of disappears, in my opinion. I have tried I think it's called like Magic Matte or something, but it doesn't give me the same results. I feel like I can see that tape a little bit more, so in my opinion, for what I like, this tape has given me the best results. And so here I am, just trying to find a good placement for the picture. And again, it's not about perfection for me. It's just kind of randomly putting pictures where, you know, it appeals at the moment. It appeals to me at the moment. So here we go, just trying to find a cute spot for the image. You know, like that just worked out nicely. It's kind of framed by the sticker in the back, which is great. Just staggering the little images again. It's so fun to look back at these pictures. My girl is 3 months now, and it's crazy to see how small she was back in January. She was born 6 weeks early, so she was tiny. She was like 4.5 pounds when she was born. And we were just so happy when she came home, and are just so thankful. We feel so lucky. She only spent 2 weeks in the NICU, and we were just so grateful. I know, other families have different experiences. Some babies have to stay in the hospital for so long, so we were just so thankful. And this one here, this picture of her smiling, is just one of my favorites. She had her little feeding tube in, but she was such a little trooper. Yeah, so I loved seeing her smile. All right, just sticking down more pictures here. And it's just so great to see how quickly adding a couple of images on each weekly spread completely, livens things up, makes a page so much more cheerful, so much more interesting, so much more desirable to go back and look at. Because I love to write. As you can see, I add quite a bit of writing here, and in my journals from years ago, I mean, they're all just writing. Sometimes it'd be like, several pages of just writing. But I think the pictures, what's the saying? A picture says 1,000 words. The picture can draw you in and then make you want to read. Because otherwise, sometimes you just, I sometimes don't go back to these journals, or it's like, I don't know. I don't have as much time to sit there and read through pages and pages, but quickly glancing at an image can bring back a lot of memories. And then having the bit of journaling in the back can, confirm, I guess, the memory. So, all right, there we have it. I think there's just one more after this one here. Okay, and so there it is, all finished. I think it looks great. A quick little flip through here. I think it looks cute. Definitely like that. And now I'm just gonna flip through the rest of the months, because why not? So here's February. Looks nice. I think March needs a couple of images, so I'll try to come back for that and do a little video on that. And April's looking great so far. Definitely has more pictures already, and I love it. It looks great. And there we have it. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I hope to see you all soon. Bye.